We're pulling double duty this year, gentlemen. I'm alongside Cesar Lucero, Cody Stevens, Nick Levine. I'm Kirby Lupo. Just came over from the Twitter X post-game side, so appreciate everyone being here on the YouTube channel side. If you're new to us, just enter your questions down there in the chat, and we'll put it up there on the screen. Panthers, big win tonight. Guys, up 1-0 in the series. Good start here. Who had it?
I know who did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the two
here we
people
go.
on the
There we
bottom
go.
right here.
Here we go.
You know what we got to do, Cody? You know what we got to do? Ooh, ooh, there we go. Now we're on top.
We're on top.
Up here.
Now we're on top.
But look at this tweet right here from Tongile. The Panthers have flipped the playoff switch.
Okay. Yep. They played outstanding. I mean, I'm gonna be first to admit I was wrong about Kachuk. So, if you guys have receipts out there, I did say that he was gonna come in a little slow. I was worried about that. Throw that out the door. He's out the window. Throw it out in the Everglades, wherever you want to throw it. That doesn't matter. He's back. And his presence on the ice is so damn noticeable. Just the agitation that he gives the other opponents is what I love the most. And what a sick little move there on the power play goal. Forehand, backhand, right in between the legs. So.
It's hard to have that poise when you're coming right back to the line, but you got to give credit to Markov and Reinhardt there too on that play.
Yeah, and looking at that play too, when I came back and I watched it, he was all alone. There was nobody. Tampa Bay was just watching Markov and Reinhardt. They had like 3 guys over there, and Chucky was just all by himself.
I think the sequence to describe this game, Brandon Hagel had the exact same chance. But Bob stayed still, did not bite on any fake, made the big save.
And I'll say this, you could tell it, even though they didn't get on the score sheet, although some of the guys did. The bottom 6 and the depth players for the Florida Panthers was the Tampa Bay Lightning, both on
you
the
just
back
go
end.
live and Nick loses all energy. What the fuck?
And it's 2 a.m. But
lock it the fuck in. Let's go.
It can't be too loud here. But the depth players for the Florida Panthers, the depth players for the Tampa Bay Lightning, you take a look. The third line for Florida was outstanding tonight. Outstanding. And I know Chiarelli got hurt for Tampa, but you take a look at those third line guys, Gage Gonsalves, Connor Geeky, Nick Paul, even Luke Glendening, and I think Zemzis Girgensson was also up there on the third line. Really nothing there. No push. And then you take a look at the bottom pair. Nate Schmidt and Uvis Belinkas, even though Schmidt, I know he got 2 goals, it's uncharacteristic, but still I thought they had a pretty, they did what they needed to do, and they were not nearly as bad as Perbix and Lilleberg were for Tampa Bay. Now, another thing.
I think we need to be better from that bottom pair, 5v5, though.
And, and Carly with the stats here.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky, 45 goals allowed in his last 12 playoff games.
That's crazy.
That's got to be
crazy.
Which is right around 3 point something goals allowed.
So he hasn't been the same in the playoffs since the back surgery.
He hasn't been the same in the playoffs since they played Colorado. That's
3.75 goals a game.
So Colorado on his last 12 playoff games, but you could even go.
But the last 12, that dates back to game 6 of the Cup final. And because they lost to Toronto, I guess it includes tonight. So never mind.
Okay.
So it includes the Toronto series in the year before and our series last year. With this game here tonight, lost one.
Well, we'll just keep going.
So I thought the biggest, the big key to, or one of the biggest plays was the third goal in the second period, which was created by Marchand's forecheck and Etu's big hit behind the net. And then here comes Sam Bennett. What a great little move to kind of like throw it in front to Marchand. Marchand shoots in front of the net. Now, that was a close call of being goaltender interference. I was kind of nervous. It wasn't. It wasn't goaltender interference, but I was kind of nervous because we've had it gone against us so many times this year.
The minute I saw that puck was loose the entire time, it's not goaltender interference because the player has the right to that puck as much as the goalie does.
Right, but you know how many times this year it's been controversy. So,
Like you're talking league wide stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. League wide, but I don't think it's been. But usually, when it's the puck is loose, they usually are pretty concrete about that. I don't
Right.
think that's the controversy.
And I want
I
to say
thought
point there, Caesar Lusto on the F1 play. I think he was the one that made the whole play to create that for Bennett and Mark.
Yeah.
well,
You
it's
get
just
that.
like you feel like
Yeah.
puck just gets kicked out to a corner, and it's like if it becomes remotely 50-50 or even 55-45 in favor of Tampa, the Panthers are all in on that forecheck right there. And again, that's what we talked about coming into this series is can we force Tampa Bay's defense to make the mistakes they did tonight? Now,
Yep.
one of the things that has been well documented about Vasilevsky, Kirby, you mentioned it on the post-game spaces, was Derek Lalonde talking about how to beat Vasilevsky from the point shots, screening in front, get deflections. You kind of seen two perfect examples of that tonight. The first one I'm not going to fault Vasilevsky on. That was just a really good elite play by Sam Bennett. But you take a look at Sam Reinhart, and even then, it's like beautiful deflection out in front, a nice play by Kulikov, Barkov right in front of Vasilevsky, Schmidt with a nice shot. I mean, that is how you
So how
beat
do you
that.
fault Vassy if you didn't like his game? Where are you faulting him on these goals?
Well, I don't
Lost
if you go goal by goal, I mean, Chernak forces Mackey to make a play like that, which it's high up in the air. I guess that's the best case scenario, but
that
then it
one,
would be-
no, I'm not blaming him to start the game. A bad
No.
lockout.
I'm not blaming Vasilevsky. On the second goal, I think it's an elite tip by Sam Reinhart.
All
That-
three
that's-
elite plays in the first period, including
The third goal, Schmidt can't really. I mean, could he have covered it? Maybe.
But that's just.
I'm not gonna. You're
They were
nitpicking
battling in front of the net.
The
So
fourth
there's
one.
I
he
don't
needs-
think there's a goal that you
Yeah.
really could blame him for
no.
because
The fourth one he needs to have. He cannot get beat like that. That is embarrassing. And if you're going to be the difference maker in this series, he needs to come up with that save. Sergei Bobrovsky did, and I'm not going to say it was the difference tonight, but at that
fans have
point
to
in the
expect
game-
Sergey. There might be a game or two like that this year versus what it was last year in Tampa. Nick, you have
Right.
to.
yeah.
yeah, and
Like last year, Bob was Vezina level. I
Yeah, I know.
played this year, but I'm just saying,
until game 4,
all the firepower that Tampa has, you have to expect one of those games.
yeah,
Maybe
but
the other way.
Well, I know.
They
And,
did last year, game 4 last year, if you want to.
right. And here's the other thing I'm looking for: is Tampa gonna the Tampa pushback? The Anthony Cirelli thing is something to really keep an eye on. With
Yeah.
Oliver Bjorkstrand already out, if Anthony Cirelli cannot go or is not 100%, that's a big loss for Tampa, and that's a huge advantage to the Panthers. I mean, Anthony Cirelli, that's all they were talking about. I made a couple jokes about it. He's a really good player. But I thought that Cirelli line
they
was-
were the best line.
They were the best line the first period of both teams. They were the best guys on the ice.
And that's why I said they had to split up Gensel there as well.
And
So
I thought Gord wasn't really too effective. So, I mean, and Kirby, you said it. The first period, you didn't really notice point that much. Kucherov, you can't really tell. And Gord was ineffective. And I said coming into the series, if you could shut down just one of those lines, then it becomes very difficult for them because they become a one-line team. That's the case with Cirelli. Now, without Cirelli, what do you do? And John Cooper, the depth is still an issue there. There's not really much else he can do.
I
I mean,
all right, that's just fucking
oh
stupid.
my gosh.
Yeah. What did you guys?
You just shared that. I was shaking my head.
That's like having half a Cowboy jersey and half an Eagles jersey.
And then the Tampa
Like,
Bay women in the crowd were doing sing along. Like
they were.
And then Caesar, I don't know if you heard being at the watch party. Tampa fans left with 15 minutes left.
Oh, we were making fun of them. Actually, my group and I, when they were showing that video of them leaving the stadium, the whole restaurant started singing. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye.
yeah.
Now I'm
Like-
saying this to Panther fans: you better not do the same thing. No
Listen.
sing-alongs if we're down 3-4 goals. Don't
No
wear a
sing-alongs
jersey
if-
like that, and don't leave with like a period left.
No sing-alongs unless we're up like 5.
No, but we were
Definitely,
talking
yeah.
about in general as far as them leaving the arena. Like
I'm saying all those things I don't want to see with us this series or ever.
Yeah.
dude, if
It was
if
like
you,
a D- for the Tampa
for
Bay.
everybody that knows me, all my friends know me. We stay the game. We stay to the end, no matter how bad we're losing.
Yep.
We could be losing 10-0. I'm saying
you.
I paid money for those tickets.
Yes,
I
and
ain't
the
gonna sit there and
playoffs,
leave.
the price of
And it's a
playoffs.
playoff tickets. Like you're gonna sit there and leave like
That's a sign of entitlement and a casual.
10 minutes left in the period. Like what the heck?
Yeah,
Like
it was
or
15.
left in the game. It was crazy. I don't
But
know.
on the
I got
Tampa,
called on a national broadcast, Cody.
but on the Tampa front here, I said this once again on like the podcast with Rod Peterson, and he talked about how Tampa really didn't miss Stamkos during the regular season. I did say one thing before this series started, and Kirby, I think you remember this when I said this. I said, without Stamkos, I wonder who's going to bring them to the fight now. Because in the playoff series last year, it was Stamkos.
But and then
And you lose a guy like Sergachev that you guys have talked
well,
about.
here's the other thing:
Game space.
guys like Pat Maroon, Corey Perry, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare on that fourth line, but Pat Maroon,
even Ross Colton, all are.
Ross
Yeah.
Colton, Pat Maroon, Yanni Gord was a good
You go
addition.
back further, Coleman, good.
But Yanni,
Coleman, Goodrow. I think that also is another element, both on the ice and in the locker room. Losing Steven Stamkos, Gensel's a hell of a player,
But
right?
that's why they brought Gord back, and that's why they brought McDonough.
Yeah,
But
but
who's the again? This is a more off-season question, but it's like what? Again, they have to work with what they have right now. They got to figure out with the guys who they have in that room. I mean,
like,
who is it? Like Hedman, he's the captain. He's going to have to figure it out. I've seen a lot of Lightning fans bitching at him. I saw one Lightning fan said he's been very disappointing with the C on his chest this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an overreaction or if that's true.
Yeah, but the one thing I always question was what leadership is going to come out? Because I don't think Kucherov's a leader at all. I really don't, because he's the type he'll take his ball and go home.
Right.
And it's crazy when he's a multiple-time Stanley Cup
But
champ.
like he got benched on the power play, and his fucking gloves are on the bench, and he's sitting there like this. So I don't think he's a leader. Point I could see more, but I see him more as a quiet guy.
Doesn't that show what Cooper used to do and their old leadership, like you said, the Stamkos types? I think that was probably always prevalent there, but it was under the surface. And now you're seeing that with Kucherov.
Yeah, because
without
Stamkos now, Kucherov can't hide no more. Because remember
He's
when
gonna answer more questions with the media?
Yeah. And when Tampa Bay was winning those cups, Kucherov was not winning those Conn Smythes. Hedman won the first Conn Smythe. Vasilevsky won the second one.
Point should have won that one.
What, the Vasilevsky one?
The last one I want to
And if you take a look at Nikita
No,
Kucherov,
I disagree on that one.
You take a look at Nikita Kucherov. Kirby, we've talked about it. His last two playoffs have not been good. I think there was a stat today, as of right now, as of the morning of April 23rd, 2 a.m., I think it's been either 11 or 12 games playoff games since Kucherov scored a goal in the playoffs.
I know some people are going to share old numbers with us now, Kucherov. I can see this in the morning. Look at his stat line here. Sometimes you got to look at more than that.
Yes, Vince, I did.
There as well. So again, yes, I know Kucherov has performed in the playoffs. I have looked at his playoff numbers.
Yeah, but it's like now I have questions about him, but I expect Tampa's best game too, because the thing is right now why this series is trending so badly for Tampa. Yeah, Nick, show the flow.
No, if we win this round, I'll show it.
I've only seen it behind the scenes.
I got my business in the back.
Look,
Caesar's got the Kachuk fade going, right?
There we go.
Yes, for the Kachuk. Check Caesar out on TikTok. Tampa Bay fans, show some respect.
Hey,
Nick, you get over there and you tell them to blow it out. You know what? If they're getting
Can I say it on air?
Say it.
Blow it out your ass, damn it.
Like, the thing, and I saw a Tampa account tweet this, and it's very telling. He's saying Tampa is losing players, but Florida's beginning to gain players.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we literally excuse me, we literally could have 5 lines out there.
I do.
It's unreal. Our fourth line the whole year, which I think Kirby gives him a little too much hate. I thought did a pretty nice job throughout the course of the year. That's our fifth line.
Oh no, I don't give it a lot of hate earlier in the year. Not earlier in the year.
No.
Greer,
Through the
a
middle
little bit
part.
with Nosek.
Through the middle part.
Look, I think
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but he did produce at times.
adding Sturm and Marchand has helped us tremendously. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about the Seth Jones acquisition, but Sturm has done a really good job. He had a great play on the penalty kill today, where he literally dove across the ice to get the puck out of the zone. I mean, just plays like that. I mean,
And here's the thing.
winning.
I know a lot of people might.
You're winning 5-2, and for him to do that, that's playoff hockey right there.
Yeah.
You're winning 5-2. A lot of people might say it doesn't matter. That matters to a coach. That matters to the players on the bench.
100%.
That builds what you need. Like, if you're a coach, that's exactly what you want to see. Doesn't matter, especially a guy like that just coming in. And I think he's done really. It's been a little bit of an adjustment for him, but as it has been since the trade deadline for everybody. But I really thought you kind of saw that bottom six start to get into form. That third line, I thought, was really good tonight. The forecheck was all over the place. The fourth line, Sturm and Rodriguez, I thought Rodriguez and Sturm were really going Boakfist. I would change it up, but, nothing to complain about there. The question for me, and again, I wanted to pose this to you. Kirby, you talked a lot about, and before I do, Armando here with a tweet, we're forcing the Bolts to the outside. This is what Panther hockey looks like. I mean,
well, that's what we did in the Carolina series.
Right? So it's like everything that we needed to do here today, we did. And I wanted to ask you guys this question, Kirby.
It's crazy. All the shots from the outside and all the Panthers' goals came from the front.
So my question is, Kirby, Caesar, Cody, what do you expect the Tampa Bay pushback to be with or without Anthony Chiarelli? I mean, considering everything, how surprised would you be at the pushback as what it was like last year? And is this a continuing issue with
I'd be shocked if it was the same thing as last year, because that tells me right there you did not get better, you just are the same team, which basically proved my point. I've said they're not.
Just had a better regular season by metrics, and
yeah.
Look,
I can see that.
I've said this already. I don't think Tampa's a different team than last year. I just think Vasi played better.
Yeah,
that's all I've said. And with Tampa, it's like, once again, you cannot go down 2-0, especially
with Aaron Ekblad coming back for Game 3.
Yeah, like
I don't know what Nick's kind of asking or indicating, but I would say they would put Gord at center. I don't know how much center depth they have if Cirelli's out.
So I don't know if they've ever tried this, because a lot of the back half of the year they've gone 11-7. So I'm interested to see if they do put Gord back at center, are they going to move up Goncalves?
It could probably be Goncalves, Point, Kucherov. Then it would have to be Paul Gensel.
Because you're not breaking up Gensel and Hagel. They were your best
Gensel,
line.
Hagel, and then it's Gord, Geeky, and Glendening or
Gergensen.
So you guys say they're moving Paul up to the second line?
They have no if Cirelli's out, yes.
Or they can slide Gord there.
Or they could slide Gord there, but I don't know if they would do. And then again, this is where the Oliver Bjorkstrand injury comes into play.
Yeah, then you start to get cramp. You start to get depleted, especially at the winger position too.
And here's the thing. For Coach John Cooper, Kirby, you said he's going to need to really put on a masterclass here in the series.
He's going to need to put something at what he did in
what can he realistically do with the depth, the way the forward depth is currently constructed?
But does he have the pieces to do it, though?
I don't think so.
What can he do is the question. With the pieces he has, what can he do?
I don't know if you can blame him for that.
Speaking of John Cooper, I do think you could put blame on him for this game, because I did say this already on the spaces, but I'm going to say it again here just to get on record and with my face here. He cost them that game with that challenge.
Yeah, it's crazy because even if he wins that challenge, you're still down what?
You're down 2-1. So
2-1.
It was like, but the thing was, it was the interview after that failed challenge. He goes, "Oh, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't." Like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean?
That's a little.
So I'm not going to blame Cooper 100% on that one, but
Yes, I am.
you
Cody's
got the
big on
video guys. You got the video guys. I mean, Paul Maurice relies on his video guys.
Yeah, but
back
the coach
there.
does make the
But
ultimate.
the coach makes the final decision there.
Yeah.
And the thing was, he did not look confident at all on the challenge.
And it was such a quick decision by the
like
refs.
it
Yeah.
because here's the thing: once that puck is loose, you have free reign to go after it.
Because I thought originally he had it covered.
he did. Yeah, I thought
And
it too.
I didn't
then-
get the best look I had live
So
until
I thought he originally had it covered, and then I'm like, I saw the replay, and I'm like, oh, that's not. And then he challenged it. I'm like, did
looks
he have it
real
covered?
bad on the slow mo. It's like,
And I'm like, what the fuck is he
I don't think this
challenging?
is getting overturned.
Yeah, it's like Vasi never had control of it, and and in turn, when that challenge, guess what? On the penalty kill, and guess who you introduced to the series now? Matthew Tkachuk.
Yep. And again, on the challenge, when Lusto's there, I know you're slowing it down and everything. It's not real time, but it's like he's making a play for the puck and for the rebound. He's not trying to interfere with Vasi before that puck gets there.
And Vasi's trying to freeze it outside the blue paint. So it's not like Lusto's in his kitchen, like in the blue paint all the way.
No, he's not even.
And Lilleberg is cross-checking Lusto into Vasi at the same damn time.
After
Yeah,
turning the puck, after turning that puck over, he's the one that just spun it over to the corner. And then Cody, just as you said, introducing Tkachuk to the series. Kirby, we talked about that. It's like it's not going to take much for Matthew Tkachuk to really get involved in this series. He doesn't need to be all world, and only played 12 and a half minutes tonight, I think.
His best series last year in the playoffs in those 4 rounds
was Tampa.
So that's not good news if you're a Lightning fan.
But here's the thing. It's like Matthew Tkachuk, he just gets...
So
like,
here's the play if you guys want to watch it real quick.
Let's... Go ahead. Run it. So you see Lilleberg just turns that puck over because Losterinen comes in. And then loose in front.
Bang.
But it's like, that's the play I'm talking about. It's like relentless.
That's a Panther goal there.
Right, but it's like
replay that again.
Play that again. Where does Lilleberg throw the puck? He just wants to get rid of it because he's going to get hit.
Yeah, but just pause it when he gets the puck here, CJ. Just pause. Bang. Go back real quick. And just pause it right now.
So that's Etu. He bobbles it a little bit, but it was a great forecheck by Etu right in there.
Yeah.
But this is what I was talking about before the series started. The Panthers victimized Emil Lilleberg and Nick Perbix last year. Victimized them.
And Dumba.
Yeah. And the right play here, and guess what? Gets a 3-year contract, and he's scratched right now for Dallas. Because right here, the play would have been to go to Paul right here in front of the net here, because he can get it to him. But he hesitates because he sees the forecheck coming. And bang, and we're off to the races.
And it's crazy because look at where Etu is behind the play here. Literally, he's not even anywhere near the play. He just comes out of nowhere.
And Nick, this goes back to Reinhart, Lundell, Lusto, the Toronto series.
Well, and I heard you guys' faces too. How a lot of people said that Verhaeghe hasn't been forechecking or backchecking. He has been, but he hasn't. You guys don't notice it, and maybe he was saving it for the playoffs.
It goes unnoticed if it doesn't end up as a goal.
Exactly, but he's been doing it all year.
But here's the thing: can you go back, rewind it a bit here? Okay, play it and then pause it right before. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's as much time as you're going to get in the NHL to make a play.
And they got to decide to rim it around the boards or have a reversal play, and then you got to make another play.
And that's what I'm talking about. And
then the Panthers are going to be relentless on second attempts and third attempts on the forecheck.
And that's what it comes down to in the playoffs, especially against teams.
Teams can't stop the relentlessness of the
Panthers.
The Panthers are their own worst enemy. If they want to turn it up, they can turn it up. But if they don't, then there's room for teams to
never mind especially the Florida Panthers, but just in the playoffs alone, that extra half second makes all the difference in the world. And you're not going to get much more time than that. Lilleberg needs to rim that puck hard up around the wall. And I'm guessing that's Paul or Geeky there. Both of them are there. One of them are going to have to go to the wall. But I'm not complaining.
But Paul's expecting the pass right here.
Well, yeah, I know. And then the second it pops loose, Bennett is the first guy there. And
but I saw today, and I don't think we have any here, but neutral zone play. And I noticed Tampa, they're trying to make plays from their blue line to our blue line. And that time and space isn't there against the Panthers because they closed that gap there too from the neutral zone. So I thought our neutral zone play was really good. I thought the worst where we were tonight was in the first period when we were trying to zone exit.
Yeah,
we were rimming it around the wall, and Tampa was right there ready for it. And that's why they got a lot of zone time on us. They got all those scoring chances early.
And an adjustment we made was we used the middle of the ice a lot more
after that
as the game went on. But like continue to play, and this is what Panther hockey is because it's off Bennett's stick, bang, bang, shot, bang, goal. Like
because remember the Panthers were with Seattle there 2 playoffs ago, quickest team off of turnovers to score through the first round or 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I still think the most prototypical, the goal that shows the Florida Panthers is
you're trying to get a dog. You're trying to spit all prototypical.
Is the Sam Bennett goal from Game 3 in the Stanley Cup Final, where they make Darnell Nurse turn it over.
I think it's the Lundell goal.
The Erod one you're talking about from Nurse?
No, I'm talking Bennett.
Okay.
Game 3.
Because I'd say the Erod one.
But it's like, here's the thing. It's like all facets of our game tonight were right. And that's exactly what we were seeing there. And
it wasn't perfect early.
No.
The effort was there. We were skating well, but it wasn't perfect.
But it's the ebbs and flows of that. And before I answer this question, I just wanted to say it. The thing on Tkachuk, it doesn't take him a lot to get involved. He gets a goal, that gets him going. Then he gets another one. And it's like, get him touches on the power play, he gets a goal or there too. All of a sudden, he's making an impact, right? So
we were talking off the air with someone. I can't remember if it was one of you guys. It might have been someone else, but they said, do you work Tkachuk slowly back in and not on the power play? I was like, no. You give him puck touches on the power play.
Yeah.
Was it you, Caesar? To get him involved in the game. Like, power play time is the easiest time. And that's what got Matthew Tkachuk into this game and likely into this series now.
But do you think Matthew Tkachuk is at 100%, or is he close to it? Where would you say he is?
I think he's close to it. Is he at 100% game speed? No.
This is a hard game to gauge.
Do you think it's the injury, or do you think it's more the conditioning at this point?
I think it's game speed. I don't think conditioning is the issue. I think game speed is the issue.
All right,
because I don't care what anyone says. Like, he's been practicing for weeks. Practice and game speed will never match up in any sport because the pressure is different. Everything is different. But as much as the gamesmanship, this is nothing new. With Paul Maurice, they have been very hush-hush with these injuries until, like, the exit meetings. That's when we find out everything.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in, guys. It's first time doing it. Appreciate you guys all being with us here. We'll share like coaches' quotes because we don't always have time to do that on the post-game show over on Twitter X, and any injury updates and things like that because it's going to be later into the night after the post-game. And again, appreciate everyone giving us thumbs up in the morning and sharing as well.
Dude, I got nothing right now on the Sorelli front.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
We might not get anything until tomorrow when they practice in their morning, if they decide to practice.
Now, there are two things. One, he's hurt bad. You don't come back in a playoff game. That could be telling. But we're number 2. They were getting blown out the building, and they just said, screw it. I mean, I don't know. But I'll say this, is Anthony Cirelli is not in the lineup for Tampa. I can't.
They might be they're in trouble.
All right, so I have this tweet from Evan Klosky, who covers the Tampa Bay, I think for like local news. He says, I'm heading to practice tomorrow, but no word on Cirelli. No Bjorkstrand and Cirelli would certainly amplify an issue the team already had.
Wow.
And like
Kirby, thoughts on the Cirelli front?
Well, I just kind of said earlier with
it's a
Gordon,
dagger.
That's the decision you do, and it probably is a backbreaker because you're not able to roll the lines, and it makes your depth down your lineup a lot more depleted because they have been going with 11 and 7, and then you got the injury you guys mentioned, Borgstrand, and then other guys really have to step up and elevate that are on the winger side. I think center wise, I thought initially maybe they're screwed, but you can be all right there with Gord, Paul, and Point, but again, it's starting to deplete the rest of your lineup.
Yeah,
and the Panthers.
But if Tampa were to win a game with like that without Cirelli, they would have to score early
and be very top heavy with the production
and just play shut down.
shut down, and Vasilevsky's going to have to play one of his best.
The star players for them are better than our star players, and I think that's how they're going to win this series if they have a chance. So you're going to have to find those games now, but it's going to be more amplified because of your lack of depth due to injury.
Or it could be because the Panthers throw the series series away, similar to how Boston did 2 years ago against us. They started making big mistakes.
But I don't think the Panthers had any injuries. And this is what I always talk with people. It's like injuries is luck, and that's what's going to get you through this playoff grind. We didn't face those injuries until the Eastern Conference Final in 2023 and then the final. So early on against Boston and Toronto, we were
started with Lusto. When Lusto broke his fibula against Carolina.
And that was unfortunate because that's like on a puck. It's not on a hit or we're getting, out hit.
And then Kachuk was out, and then I think there were some other people that were
Montour
out.
hurt himself when he laid it.
Oh, yeah. Montour with the torn shoulder, Ekblad with the torn shoulder, like the dislocated shoulder, torn oblique, broken foot. Like Bennett had like the broken foot as well.
Hey, no one talks about that Bennett one enough because there's so many injuries.
And it's like, and the thing was, like, remember 2022 where we were waiting for exit? He's like, oh, maybe they were injured. Nope, only Lindell, tonsils removed.
That pissed me off so much, and I'm like, we need to change the core of this team and the makeup of this team because that just showed look how soft we were then to compare where we are now. It doesn't even seem like the same organization.
And that third period, is it not the evolution of the Panthers the last 3 years?
Yeah.
That third period was.
I was on my.
It's just boring neutral zone play.
I was watching Minnesota Vegas for most of that third.
I can't even tell you what happened in that third.
Dude,
after
it's crazy because I can only imagine how much better we are going to be.
Yeah,
once Ekblad is back there.
Yeah, and we had to go on the penalty kill like I think twice in the third.
And we were disciplined all night. I think this part won't get talked about. It was the one undisciplined play from Kachuk, and that was it for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about that penalty? Did you like it, or do you think it was a little overboard?
Anytime it's against Kucherov, I think it's kind of worth it. But no, I do think it was kind of a weak call.
Well, if you're going to call that penalty, you got to call for the rest of the night. But
I think if you're going to call that penalty,
Cody on that line.
I'm just saying Hagel's doing a bunch of flybys before that, right? Taking out Barkov, taking out Reinhardt, almost took out fucking Bobrovsky because he can't get his he's freaking going around. So if you're going to do that, then don't be surprised when our guys do it, right?
Well, they called the pick play on Tampa, so you can't complain.
And by the way, the Bennett goal was number 4 on the
I'm looking
top
at that
10.
right now. But I think it also sends a message, right? It's kind of like Kirby. You talked about Kucherov hasn't been the same since Kachuk came here and Maurice. Well, that's another example. Kucherov got flattened. Now you got to be smarter there, and I don't want Kucherov to get hurt. You need to make your presence known to him because before he's just dancing by.
Yeah, but also Chuck's got to be careful there. And then he did like ramp it back a little bit. Like he's coming. But you don't want him doing that all game, That's
and I felt like we had control of the game from the most of that first part, and then once we got into that penalty, Tampa Bay kind of got back into their groove. For like,
so you're with Nick there because I thought Tampa had momentum before that, but Nick thought they got
I thought
they had momentum.
No, I said before that.
Yeah, I don't really think.
No, I thought Florida controlled.
Both teams were skating well to start the game.
I thought that was a really good first 10 minutes.
You could argue it was even. You could argue it was even.
Yeah,
but after that penalty, I thought Tampa stepped it up a little.
And then the second and third period.
I don't know. Tampa had more zone time. Cody, you're with me there.
I thought Tampa was the better team in the first.
Yes.
Especially towards the end there. Like, I thought we were lucky to be out that period.
Yes, with Bob making 1 or 2 of those saves.
And then the second is a bit because we had the first half, like the first 5 to 7 minutes, I thought were us. Then it was a little bit even, and then Tampa got that got that point goal, and they were better until the period ended. And then
I thought they might have tried to steal a goal there at the end.
Yeah, and then it was just all Florida in the third. I don't think Tampa got a sniff.
But second period was not good Tampa Bay hockey. That reminded me of last year in the series against us in their first periods.
Yeah,
They're
just
all over the place and taking penalties and
like you want to talk about a dumbass penalty. That Lilleberg penalty was horrible because at least with the screen, Nick had a hair faux pas right there. I saw that, bud. You're not sneaking by.
And he's frozen. That's a nice freeze.
But at least with the screen, you could try and act like you were standing there. He fucking skates to the guy and hits him and just goes, I didn't do it. Like,
To run a pick play there, that's a weird place on the ice.
Like,
it's
but
usually at the blue line when you're trying to zone it.
But if you got to run pick plays on us at your own D zone,
behind the hash marks, as
that's telling me you guys are not liking what we're giving you.
Yeah, that shows that we're giving you problems on that forecheck. We're getting up on you a little too much that you're not comfortable.
And once again, I'm still sticking with Florida at 60 because once again, I don't think Tampa has the defense to withhold the forecheck. I really don't.
We're seeing it early on, and that is not a good sign for Tampa because when Florida shows that early on, that switch don't usually turn off.
Oh yeah, no. Like you could have a bad game, but we're not gonna
let off that.
Yeah, and I think
when Carter Verhaeghe has thrown hits to hurt guys, you're in trouble.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Again, everything. His body this year, but that was a huge hit.
Everything, just if you're within 2 feet of the player, boom, boom, boom. I mean,
Lusto, man, he's hitting with malice intent, and he was doing that, Cody, at the end of the regular season. Fans probably weren't tuning into some of these games, but he was making huge hits at center ice, neutral zone area. Throwing the body there. I think Lusto was ready for this before.
Mikula with 5 hits, but Kulikov with 5 hits.
Shifting ahead.
One guy that we didn't really mention, I thought Sam Leskevich played really well for his first playoff game.
I thought he was steady. He didn't play a lot of minutes.
I don't think it was anything.
A lot of those minutes are on the power
He did
play.
what he had to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for a rookie.
I wouldn't say impressed, though. I wasn't like it was. It was a steady performance.
He's continuing what he did in the regular season, just being steady, doing everything the coaching staff asked for. Because
I think he took a little backseat to Bennett early, and then Kachuk was the guy in the second there on the power play. But that was a power play situation. Yeah. They didn't really go to Mackey for a lot of offense like we've seen this year, 5v5, and then on the power play as well. I don't think as many puck touches there.
He never got to touch the damn puck because Matthew Kachuk's wide the hell open in front of the net. So why the hell would he touch it?
Good point.
But
I'm just trying to say, like, he played about 11:45, was it?
Like, yeah, and 2 points from Kachuk, 2 points from Barkov, 2 points from Reinhart.
I think people aren't going to talk about Barkov and Reinhart here, Caesar. They did under the radar things that led to these.
They were very good tonight.
And I thought Barkov was phenomenal.
People complain about how Barkov.
I don't want to.
14 of 18 in the face-off. Him and Reinhart each got 2 points. Verhaeghe got another point.
They're matched up on the tough matchups.
Yeah,
so it's crazy because like that. Here I got it in my notes here. Which goal was it? Yeah, 44 seconds left in the game. Panthers take the lead. Barkov, that was a key face-off win. Key face-off win with 44 seconds left in the first period. Reinhart keeps the puck in play. Verhaeghe does a great pass to Kulikov. Kulikov shoots in front of the net.
That's a good play by Kulikov. I thought another guy played 20 minutes tonight. Coming in, he didn't really play a lot down the stretch. Only had those 2 games. He came in, played legit top 4 minute, and did a good job of it. I mean, I was really impressed with him.
Thankfully, can y'all quit talking about the man like he's fucking 45?
Yeah, I mean, I think him and Schmidt.
He has over 1,000 games.
Okay, but so does Marchand, and he has probably about 1,500, and you're not talking about him like that.
Well, he could retire at the end of the year, Marchand.
Here's my other point I want to talk about. Seth Jones.
That does bother Cody, though.
Seth Jones, I thought.
It's not even me. I'm just trying to advocate for the people that do say it.
I thought Seth Jones was really good.
He was steady.
He was very good.
Especially early when you need that in the first period there. I thought that was probably his best period.
I think it was a quiet game from him, but I really liked every time he was shutting plays down, wasn't really letting a lot of guys get behind him. A lot of people say he makes these huge mistakes. Well, he didn't make them tonight, and I think some of that's been overblown. I think he was just really good tonight. We needed a big night from Seth Jones, especially in the absence of Aaron Ekblad. And I thought credit to our whole team, but the defense, Uvas Belinkas just getting under 15 minutes of ice time, almost 16 minutes of ice time for Nate Schmidt, close to 20 for Kulikov and Mikula, Forsling at 23, and then Seth Jones at 24. That's we got minutes, and we got good play from the defenseman we need. And now the Ekblad issue that we talked about for weeks. I know the series isn't over, but we're going back home with at least a split. In essence, all the talk about missing Aaron Ekblad for the first 2 games is done. We did what we needed to do without him at the bare minimum. Now we have a chance to
if
go
there's a
up 2-0.
disaster class with the bottom pairing next game. Well, I'm talking about Belinkus here.
Well,
or if we lose a home game because of his first game back and he struggles.
That's
okay, but here's the thing: we were talking about without Aaron Ekblad.
Yes, I know. What
Yeah.
you're saying.
But
we couldn't afford to go down 2-0, and with Aaron
I don't think
Ekblad
it'll happen, but
situation.
I don't think he's going to struggle because he's
Yeah,
not coming
don't
off
either.
an injury. He's coming off suspension.
Yeah.
But it's not like the
But he
present
was
trophy award-
taking something for an injury.
Yeah, but the injury's got to be fucking healed now. That was 2 months ago.
I say maybe you don't play Ekblad on the penalty kill. You work him back on the first pairing with Forsey, and then you don't put him on power play 1. What?
You put him back on PK.
Okay, PK 1.
He stays on the PK. He doesn't go back on the power play. He goes
Power
to the second
play.
unit.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm
You
saying if you want to ease his minutes back,
But
you give
the
the
main
guy
He's
thing is-
Kachuk's minutes fucking back. I'm
What
not
everybody-
I was going to
what a lot
call
of
him out on that
people-
too.
What a lot of people were worried about coming into the series down the stretch, what we were worried about the first 2 games that Aaron Ekblad we're guaranteed a split. So that's good. It allows our guys to play a little bit more free here in game 2.
Yeah, but you don't want to be too conservative with that either.
No, but we did our job.
That's the mindset of the team. You got to be
We
aggressive.
did our job.
Yeah.
But
We
we
did our
can be
job.
conservative about it. They can't. They're not going to be. I
Right,
doubt
and they're
that
not
shit.
going to be. But it allows our guys to play a little bit more free. The injuries to Tampa, we'll see what happens there. But we have a chance to go in there game 2. If they are banged up, if they are missing a guy, that's a golden opportunity for us right there.
And
So
if
let's try to go replicate this performance. I don't think they're going to be as bad, but if we're just as good, I think we're going to have a chance.
if they're as bad as they were tonight,
Well, then it's over.
I don't
mean,
know
that-
if that's the case, if that's the case, I got questions about Brisebois because
like the summer, like what his
Yeah,
future? Are you talking about like he could be on the hot seat
His-
maybe a little bit?
yeah, I think that he's getting warm because I know he made the Goodrow and Coleman acquisitions. I'm sorry, dog. You won that shit with Eiserman's teams. Eiserman drafted Kucherov. Eiserman drafted
I
Sam.
will say this: they have
to get some credit here.
Eiserman drafted
have
Vasilevsky.
Or
replaced
Tampa work.
they have replaced one of Killorn or Palat with Brandon Hagel.
They replaced Palat. They didn't replace Gord.
Colton was a big
You mean
loss.
Killorn?
Killorn, my bad.
Okay,
Colton was a
Hagel.
big loss with the cap. I guess cap.
Hagel.
Yeah,
They
but-
haven't replaced a Coleman. They made a nice move at 3C. Nick
Colton.
Hall.
I'm talking.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah.
Colton. I mean, you take a look. I mean, they need an.
Coleman and those guys they lost. Those guys.
Here's the other part. They in the top
Colton.
6, sorta. They are missing a top 6 forward, and Bjorkstrand hurt being that. But the
Yeah.
bottom 6 really hasn't been solved full time ever since these guys left, and the defense has kind of been a mess since
Yeah.
all this left. And Sergachev and McDonough left. Now Sergachev's gone. McDonough's back. I mean, it's just kind of been a mess, and Chernak's been terrible. Is the reason why.
We'll have to ask Tuna if there's any guys in their pipeline on the blue line for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Let's see here.
But I don't think they anticipated Chernak being that bad after this. I think they anticipated him being better.
Oh, I
Now,
think, and I don't know. Maybe they're a little critical on them, but Perbix, I thought they think is a big part of their future too. And if he's not able to stack
he was
up
terrible tonight.
playoffs, that's going to be tough for a team like Tampa. That's in a window that they do not want to close and continue to contend.
Yeah, but
The top 6, the goaltending, great. Here's the thing: Sergachev was the future number one defenseman. Now
he was a number one.
and now you just move on from him. So who's the heir apparent?
Fucking dumbass shit. That
And
was the
Hedman's
shit.
gonna need
And
a
that's
guy
what
like
they got
that.
from Montreal going way back.
And Hedman, he's getting older. He might need a guy like that in these next year or two, right? Especially when they're contending. I don't think they really could have afforded to do that, but look, we'll see. I mean, it depends on how much Connor Geeky ends up for them, and if Mosier can continue to kind of elevate his game.
According to this prospect list, Kirby, Roman Schmidt, right-handed D for the Syracuse Crunch, is their number 8 prospect.
And that's the highest up they have for a defenseman.
Indeed.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So
We don't have much room to talk either.
Yeah, I don't complain about ours.
But Hey, at least we're getting shit on the forward front here with with Samaskevich. We got we're gonna have Sachin coming up soon. I'm excited.
Maybe
about
Benning can be something. Hopefully,
I'm not fucking. I'm holding my breath.
We could have had Nyes instead of Evan Noss. I keep looking at that, but
thanks, Vince. That's a Vince choice right there.
pick there. Yeah.
Vince was in the war room. I heard
Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
pounding the
But
table.
But
Was
speaking,
he wearing a suit?
Yeah.
Matthew Nyes, one of my Conn Smythe selections, Caesar.
If he was that day,
and
Caesar, he
my
ain't wearing
guy,
one anymore.
my guy, Cody Seth Jarvis.
That's my guy. The fuck?
I got him on my Conn Smythe list.
What are you talking about? I draft him in fantasy every year.
And you know what? My guy is Wyatt Johnston because Kirby traded him in fantasy for Filipino.
Filipino.
But hey, just remember, my guy's
Injured
Thomas
goods. That's what
Harley.
you guys all do in these fantasy leagues. You send me injured goods.
Hey.
Cody does that in football.
Kirby, you
Hey.
can't talk about trades in
You
fantasy.
offered me the fucking deal.
I need a new medical staff. I think I'm running with the Minnesota Wild medical staff here.
Yeah, Caesar, just a little background.
Whoa.
Kirby traded me Mostert in his 20 touchdown year for Mike Williams, and he tore his ACL a week later.
No.
I should have been next.
And
And
And then around that time, he traded me Wyatt Johnson. And I gave him Philip Heedle, and that's when Philip Heedle missed the whole year last year.
He's a great guy, Kirby. You should really believe. Oh, look at
and then you gave me
You
I
shysted.
gave and then I gave you Leo Carlson for Thomas Harley.
I didn't know Thomas Harley was going to play for Team Canada and be wearing gold.
I told you about Thomas Harley. That's
no.
my guy.
That's my guy.
No, fuck
Ryan-
you. That's my
Ryan-
guy.
That's my
Yeah.
guy.
Ryan.
Not
Shit,
every guy
Ryan.
on Dallas could be your guy.
Ryan.
What's up, Ryan?
Ryan, back me up here.
Ooh,
Thomas
Apple.
Harley is my
Don't bring
guy.
that name up, Ryan. Get out of here with that.
I was like, let's get rid of him for Bennett.
I'm definitely gonna. I need to be in this.
No,
fantasy league
Ryan,
next year.
fine. Our guy.
Look, I came in second this year. I'm coming
Yes,
to
pitch in the hockey.
look.
Probably
Our
going
guy,
to relegate
Ryan.
some people to the.
There we
Euro.
go.
I came up short last year versus Don Bania, but I'm looking. But hey, Kirby, have you heard the issues that Tampa's had with their most recent first round pick?
I don't think so.
Isaac Howard, you have
Yeah,
him?
they.
Oh, Isaac Howard.
Yeah, they like it's looking like he's not going to sign there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yep.
So
Anyways, guys, we have about 3 minutes.
yeah.
Anything real quick on what to expect on game 2 before we wrap it up here with the video?
Well, I think I'll get a better feel of it as we get closer. If Chiarelli's out, I think my perspective changes a bit. If he can't go, I mean, I
That's
think
fair. So you think at 2-0 if he's not in?
I think Tampa's in trouble. If he can't go.
Yeah, we
do
got
expect
Series, I
him.
think Caesar with Tampa.
And it's not because of
Kinda
it's not because of Tampa. It's just like
No,
I mean,
it's just the
you're already
injuries
down
right now.
Bjorkstrand. You're already
Yeah.
down Bjorkstrand. You can't afford to miss another guy, especially Chiarelli.
And see how the Panthers are here coming off of Kachuk's first game and other guys. See if there's any nicks and bruises. I think guys will only get like a rest. I don't think there's nothing that we sustain there that we're aware of. So that's
Yeah.
good.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if Kachuk stays off the ice tomorrow, and some of other guys.
keep him on there. Get him some work in. For game 2, I think that this is funny because we said this before this game. The first 10 minutes are going to tell a whole story. I expect kind of. Let me try and use what Toronto did game 2 2 years ago. Remember they came out firing 2-0 quick. I expect something like that with Tampa. But then again, I guess I'm expecting old Tampa still.
Yeah, and I think
At what point do we just realize that maybe it might not be coming? We're gonna find out. Obviously,
When the series is over and the Panthers win it, that's when we realize
Yeah.
it. Because
think-
I still believe in the. I still respect. I still think they're in this. I mean, this is not over this series, but again, if Chiarelli is out, that changes my thought on it.
and they
for
still
sure.
have Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky could, turn the clock back maybe, and put up one hell of a performance. And we're like,
I'm not ever going to discount Vasi, but I go back to what Cody even said last year, the depth of Tampa on the blue line and different things like that, the Chernak night as well. It's just, that's hard to overcome for Vasi.
yeah, it's just
I think at times we might underrate
It-
fire
you know-
that we have, and I think fans might do that.
I agree.
Like Reinhardt, like really, I think he's on a lot of teams
I
around
don't
the league.
think-
They're like, you're gonna pay. Sam Ryer's gonna make
You look at our superstars, Kirby. That's like a really good point.
Barkov.
A lot of people don't realize like Barkov, Reinhart, Kachuk, then even Verhage and some of these other guys. Bennett. I mean,
Kachuk takes all the oxygen from our fan base and the national media. The other guys are like, I'm here.
But that's
What about me?
perfect.
And boom.
Matthew Kachuk handles the media perfectly.
I was going to say that's what we want.
It leaves Barkov and Reinhardt in the dark, where Barkov loves to be.
That's what he loves to be. Yeah.
Verhage for an overtime winner. Oh, you're
Great
down
point there,
3-0.
Cody. Yeah.
Yeah, but this game, I'm never going to discount Vasilevsky. I never will.
Yeah.
I'm expecting better from Tampa, but I will say this: if they do lose Game 2, the series is over.
And we start to talk about like the domination of Tampa and like they're showing up for 20 minutes of games and then they're just having a disappearing act. I don't expect that, but if it happens for another game or two, you're like, that's the realization here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, if that does happen, are gonna have a lot of fucking egg on their face.
Yeah.
Because
Especially
I've
the
seen
media.
Tampa go to finals in a lot of brackets. And I just think the Panthers are probably it's looking like it could be the Panthers with the most underrated team going into this postseason.
Oh, that's a Sean McDonough thing. Oh,
the most
we were top contender all the
disrespected
time.
team.
It's
The
just
most disrespected team.
I don't know if they're going to come out and say that. It's going to have to be a run past Tampa here, and then you got to knock off, center of the universe team, which is looking like.
I just hate the disrespect that like we have to knock off Tampa. Tampa has to knock off us. We're the reigning Stanley Cup champions, but
with how they're talking.
Yeah, but as we sign off here, let's go a little bit around the league for the series, just really quickly. Winnipeg up 2-0 over St. Louis right now, going into Game 3 tomorrow night. Dallas, Colorado knotted up at 1. Colin Blackwell, big OT winner last night. Big one.
That was a great game.
And with Dallas potentially getting Miro Heiskanen back in one of these next games, we could be looking at some here. And Marty Natchez, the light switch is off right now. So
that LA game was crazy. We did an offline hangout on Twitter X Spaces. Make sure to join us every post game. We did one for that offline a couple nights ago.
Vegas, and Minnesota blows them out here. Aiden Hill, awful game. Tied that series 1-1 going back to Minnesota now. I told you guys that was not going to be a sweep.
Well, you could have picked Minnesota. That was your.
I'm not picking. I still think I like Vegas too much. But LA Edmonton, LA up 1-0 in that crazy game, nearly blew it, but they saved face for that one. Toronto up 2-0 over Ottawa, big OT winner from Max Domi. Washington up 1-0 on Montreal over that OT winner from Ovechkin. We'll see what happens. I'm not counting out Montreal. Scrappy team, and then the who gives a fuck about this series? Hurricanes, Devils.
I care.
What a shit show.
To make my point. I said sweep and 2-1 games, 3-2 games. And that's what it's been so far. Halfway there, Carolina. Don't do what the Rangers did the one year so Cody can give New Jersey credit or whatever.
Well, you're not going to give him credit for coming back 2-0? Really?
I got one goal away from being up 3-0, and the Rangers couldn't find.
And guess what? They won that series, Kirby. You're not going to give them credit for that.
I don't think Carolina's going to be doing.
You gave credit for Toronto for beating the fucking shorthanded Florida Panthers
of course.
team.
Whose fault was it? Gerard Gallant's fault. It's everyone's fault in New York.
But Carolina up 2-0 over the
Devils.
Devils.
Peter Laviolette's fault now, Kirby.
Yeah,
but that was Gallant's team. Right?
Well, now he's gone, so we'll see.
No, he's gone.
But
I'm just going to say this: you go to conference finals with two different coaches, and you think they're the problem still. I don't know.
Look, Gallant was right what he said in that press conference.
All right.
My
phone's going to die here soon because I was on. Man, this was a long night, but it was a fun night.
It was a good night too.
But
gentlemen,
appreciate all everyone. You, my co-hosts, joining me tonight, and everyone, of course.
Thank you,
everyone in the chat here on the YouTube side.
Thank you guys for liking and subscribing, and for those of you that are going to watch in the morning that haven't watched this live, be sure to always like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate all your love. Thanks again for everything.
Signing off as always. Let's go Cats, baby.
Every single win in the playoffs, we put one puck over there. And we have 15 more to go. And great job by everyone. Bobby, PK, literally everyone. But we know we can do a little better. So, but Chucky, welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be back with you boys. We're just getting started here.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats!